Hey everyone, Boardgame Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I was reflecting back on all the games that I have reviewed this year so far, and for me it's been a great opportunity to review some of these titles for some big publishers that I haven't been able to do in the past. This means that the channel is growing and it helps me to cover more games for you all to see. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Also, I'm not the only one providing content on this channel. I'd like to also mention Tyler Williams, as he has recently been producing video content here at Meeple Mountain. Now, let's get to the list. Again, this list is for games I've personally reviewed, me, Boardgame Brody, in 2020, so some of these games might not even be released yet, but these are the games that I've personally reviewed and played myself during this year so far. Starting this list off, the top game of 2020 so far is Dead Reckoning by AEG. Now, I only had this prototype copy for maybe a week and a half, and I wish I could have had it longer to investigate the heavier pirate-themed game a little bit more than I was able to. I just love how the mechanics blend well with the theme, the fact that it's a more complex pirate game with so many choices. I like the way the battles are performed by dropping cubes in the little ship. Now, there is some direct confrontation that I usually don't like, but it felt different as players can benefit from fighting, and sinking a ship isn't great for you, but it's not going to end your chance to win the game. The game ended its Kickstarter July 31st, but if you think it might be of interest, you might be able to do a late pledge or a pre-order. On to the next one. As many of you have probably noticed, it seems like 2020 has been the year of the pirate. My number 2 game of 2020 thus far is Forgotten Waters by Plaid Hat Games. Now, I don't want to compare this and Dead Reckoning with each other as they are completely different games, but for me, I enjoy the added complexity to a game without making the game too complex, thus Dead Reckoning is ranked one above this one. But Forgotten Waters was still a game for me not to forget that I really like to play. It helped fulfill a gap of games that I feel like is missing. That is a party type game, meaning that there can be a large amount of players playing in the game, yet your choices in the game still matter as it still has some strategy and the gameplay is involved with the game. This game is a storytelling game, but you make choices to progress what's going to happen, and then you read, or more like the app reads, what your consequences are. I'm personally a huge fan of these hybrid app and board games, and I enjoy how this one was put together. Most importantly, I feel like I've enjoyed this game every single time I've played it, and I love all the details that Plaid Hat Games put into this. This game is currently in retail and can be purchased right now. Number 3 is Tang by Thundergryph Games and Lucky Duck Games. This game is such a beauty on the table, but also includes a solid gameplay. The rules are fairly simple, but as players add tiles to the game, many options open up as well. Players choose to either place a tile from one of the 4 stacks, or to choose a decoration by drawing 3 cards, choosing one, and adding it to the board. Players will focus on matching tiles of a certain terrain to increase their cube on their player board of the matching terrain to pass achievements, giving that player more of an edge. If you value very well made, good looking components in a game that holds a strong gameplay, then Tang is for you. Great job, Thundergryph Games, and thank you, Lucky Duck Games. On to number 4, Shadow Kings of Valeria. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you might know that I'm a huge fan of daily Magic games. Well, this is my new favorite title of theirs, while still loving all the others, of course. I like this game so much because it includes a lot of planning. You're trying to pick up certain colored dice, but you also are trying to pick up dice in a location that you can perform its action in. When both of these things line up, then it's an amazing turn. And when they don't, then you have to choose what might be more important, or adapt your strategy, or just do something different. As you progress in the game, you unlock more things, so you don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're just going to be doing more. If you are a fan of drafting, more specifically dice drafting, and enjoy the theme that Daily Magic Games specializes in, then you have to check this out. Again, Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria by Daily Magic Games. Number 5 goes to the winner of the Kinderspiel Award, The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9 by Cosmos Games. Since posting my video for this game, I guess I have realized that maybe I took my background of playing a lot of trick-taking games for granted, as I have received tons of comments about not explaining that game very well. You know, I grew up always playing Hearts or Spades or Wizard or so many other games. And my oldest brother, he absolutely loves trick-taking games, and we played them all the time when I was younger. Anyways, the game might be a little more complex than I feel like it is, just because of my background, but it's one of those games that make you feel like, oh man, why didn't I think of this? What I mean by that is, I don't feel like the game is super complex, but the nature of the game is just so good. It takes care of an unknown need of a trick-taking cooperative game. Who would have thought that you can make such a great game that is trick-taking and cooperative? If you like trick-taking games, it might surprise you of the difference that this is, as it is cooperative, and that might not make sense, but if you are curious, then you should totally check out The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9 by Cosmos Games. Number 6 goes to probably one of my favorite publishers right now. They're putting out a lot of great games recently, and I feel like their games hit the perfect spot for me specifically. So number 6 is Paris by Game Brewer. This is a nice medium weight game that Game Brewer hit out of the park, in my opinion. Players will be adding buildings to the board to possibly own, and adding a key to gain more money, or moving a key to a building in the same district it was previously placed on to upgrade your buildings. Now, when claiming buildings, players will be gaining additional resources, and the players will also be moving their Meeple on a track to collect specific tiles to help them progress in the game. Turns are short and sweet, and the game is full of options with no direct player confrontation. And the strategy in the game changes as the game progresses throughout. I believe Paris can be pre-ordered right now, and I would also say watch out for Game Brewer's new titles coming. They have some coming here in 2021 at the beginning of the next year, and they are great medium weight games, so I would definitely remember their name and what they're doing. All right, number 7 is a wonderful game. It's A Wonderful World by Lucky Duck Games. Wow, Lucky Duck Games has grown so fast. I remember when they were first publishing Zombie Tsunami and Vikings Gone Wild. Well, they have teamed up to bring It's a Wonderful World to me personally, and I would like to say thank you, as this is a great game for me and my wife, and we love playing it. The game isn't overly complex, just enough information that my wife likes to process without causing a lot of downtime in the game for other players. Players are all processing information at the same time, and they simultaneously draft cards for the round, and then at the end all players will decide how they will use all their drafted cards. Players are trying to produce more resources to use to help fulfill the requirements of their cards, and cards can give you these additional resources or points. It's all about how you want to use the cards to progress in the game. But the best thing for me in this game is the simultaneous gameplay that shortens up the game, but still gives you a great gameplay experience in lesser time than other drafting games. Now, I know there's some expansions for this that I personally haven't been able to play, but I hope to cover them for you sometime here in the future. But again, this is It's a Wonderful World by Lucky Duck Games. Number 8. I think it's gonna be a good game. Rocketmen by Phalanx Games. So here you have a deck builder push your luck game. I really like the deck builder aspect of this game, and once you use certain cards for missions, you will gain benefits to fulfill harder and harder missions. Each time you attempt a mission, you can perform it in different ways because of chance, as there is a deck that you flip over with cards that all have a different number, and those cards will move your rocket ship that many spaces forward each time you flip one out. out, and after you flipped over the number of cards for your mission, say it would be like, I don't know, 4 or 6, if you flip over that many and the spaceship doesn't make it to that destination, then you will fail that mission, setting you back just a little bit. The push your luck can be used in many ways, as you can attempt missions whenever you would like and aborting whenever needed. But many times you will just barely make your destination when flipping over that last card. This, to me, is a very solid thematic deck builder where you can push it hard or play it safe. Again, this is Rocketmen by Phalanx Games. Now next here, recently I was able to review this. It's number 9, Kingswood by 25th Century Games. This is a worker placement game of resource generation while trying to fulfill missions of fighting monsters. You will be moving one of the 3 adventurers from a location to another unoccupied location, taking both actions on both of those 2 locations. You'll be gaining resources and using them as you fight monsters, then needing to visit another location to gain more resources or refreshing the ones that you already have. Now you need to be careful because the strategic placement of the adventurers and the Kingsguard can block specific locations for other players to use, or for you to use. This is a nice strategic, more family weight game that I absolutely love. Straightforward, yet the variety of monsters and locations make it interesting each time that you play. I'd recommend this game for players who don't like a ton of rules, that like to play a game fairly quickly right out of the box. Kingswood by 25th Century Games takes the number 9 spot. Number 10 goes to Rallyman GT by Holy Grail Games. This is a nice dice-rolling racing game that gives you the thrill of racing and pushing it hard on the track, risking a potential crash, or taking it slower to play it safe, setting up for your next turn. You'll be placing specific dice on the track, changing gears, and speeding faster down the track. Now, when a turn comes, you might need to slow down, possibly braking, as the track is a very tactical feel. You'll be using a set number of dice each time with one of the gears listed on it. Some of them let you coast, some of them let you brake. You can only use each dice once on your placement, so you can't gear up once, then gear back down once, then back up once, and then back down again. So turns will require strategic placement of the dice, then luck rolling them so you don't crash, and the decisions of going either all out or reserving the need to potentially stop advancement where you're at to set up for the next round. Holy Grail Games has recently come out with Rallyman Dirt, which I can't wait to review and show you all. So for a racing game, Rallyman is where you need to look. Lions of Lydia by Bellwether Games takes the number 11 spot. Lions of Lydia is an economic worker placement game that is so great because the turns are fast, the game has simple rules, yet the gameplay is far from simple. You will randomly draw one meeple from the bag and place it on one of the 4 gates or in the middle. When placing the meeple, you will check any cards that you have gained to see if the color of the meeple and the location of the gate gives you any bonuses. Plus, you gain the number of resources from the gate you activated by the number of meeples in the location that match the gate's color. The game is great, and I can't wait to see what the final product looks like. I believe this game is planned to release very soon, and it's Lions of Lydia by Bellwether Games. Last on the list is Overlord, a boss monster adventure by Brotherwise Games, which, if you don't know yet, they switched the name to Overboss, a boss monster adventure by Brotherwise Games. This game is a great tile placement game for 1 to 5 players. You are trying to match similar terrain types together to gain points, but also trying to balance the management of monsters and grouping them together or placing them on matching terrain. Each type of terrain provides a different point value, and some will score huge points if you acquire large sets. The game combines drafting, set collection, and tile laying into a great game that's inspired by the retro art world of Boss Monster. This game also went through its Kickstarter campaign recently and is currently in production. Alright, those are the 12 games. Now for me, I feel like I've been able to get my hands on some great games. So, I'd like to mention some games that I feel like hit the spot for me, just not enough to make this list of the top 12. My honorable mentions are Tutankhamun by 25th Century Games, Forest Guardians by Shepherd Kit, Journey of the Emperor by Laboratory H, and Tiny Towns by AEG. These are all great games that I was able to review in 2020 thus far, and I'd personally recommend any of these games for you to check out. Now, if you have any questions or comments about these games, please leave a comment below. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping that this later part of 2020 brings even more games, better games, games that you all will enjoy. Again, this is Boardgame Brody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.